So Indiana Jones is really adding to their cast rapidly. If you're not getting cast in a Knives Out sequel, you're getting cast in Indiana Jones lately. Those are the only castings I've heard lately. But we've got another one to add to the cast, and honestly, this one gets me just as excited as the Mads Mikkelsen thing. Indiana Jones 5 has added Boyd Holbrook to the cast. For those that don't know, Boyd Holbrook is the main antagonist from Logan. I'm your Huckleberry. He's just so... Ugh. But I feel like he gets typecast as the bad guy a lot, but he does it so well. However, I don't think he'll be the bad guy this time. Maybe just to try and break away from tradition, primarily because we already know Mads Mikkelsen is the bad guy. This doesn't surprise me because directors like to work with actors time and time again. And, James Mangold did Logan. James Mangold did Ford v Ferrari. James Mangold is doing Indiana Jones 5. And I still will die on the hill that I think he's a better choice than Steven Spielberg nowadays. Don't get me wrong, Spielberg still has his greatest of all time director's gig, but recently other directors I think have passed him by in terms of their current output. And I think James Mangold is one of them. It never hurts to add talent, and Boyd Holbrook is one of those up-and-coming big-name guys, so I'm absolutely on board for this.
Yeah, I mean, anything to make this movie work and be better than the Kingdom of Crystal Skull. Hey, Nathan, question for you. Is there any cast, person you think you would, I'm looking at the graphic, obviously. I wonder if there's a person you might think that he could be.
He kind of looks like Garrett Hedlund.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just the generic white guy with a terrible mustache.
Yeah.
He's not playing Mutt.
Recast him! Mutt has to be in it, dang it.
No.
Yes, I love Mutt. Maybe I just love Shia LaBeouf again.
That is true. Okay. Of all the casts we've gotten so far, Mads Mikkelsen, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Harrison Ford, naturally, John Williams doing the score, Boyd Holbrook. If you had to pinpoint one name, James Mangold will throw that in. If there's one name above all that's attached to the Indiana Jones 5 project right now, who's the top of your list of, like, that's what gets me the most excited?
Mads. Like, automatically. Like, he's like one of the best guys at... Okay, how do I say this?
He's the best at being the worst.
Yeah, he's just so good. Like, he's so incredibly talented. And not to say previous actors of villains in previous Indiana Jones films have not been good. They've gotten the job done. Now, I want an Indiana Jones villain that is not just like, ooh, I have a lot of money. I'm gonna get ahead of. I'm a Nazi, and I'm gonna get ahead of Indiana Jones and steal all this stuff.
Jones, there's nothing that you cannot claim that I cannot also take away.
Yes,
with what's his face. To be fair, though, just because it's a good actor doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be good. Kate Blanchett in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a choice, but I don't blame her for that at all.
I think she did what she could.
Yeah. I think Mads Mikkelsen's up there, but to me, I'm still the most excited for James Mangold being the one directing this.
Okay.
And I know some people will still say he's over the hump, but again, when you get Harrison Ford motivated, he's still one of the best in the game, because even though the sequel trilogy is not the most cohesive and pieced together, you can't tell me that Han isn't still trying his absolute best. Like,
yes.
For a character that Harrison was supposedly through with and had no interest in returning to be after Return of the Jedi, he still gave everything he had to be Han Solo, maybe because he knew he was going to die. So I still kind of expect the same here, and I think growing this fantastic cast around him alleviates the burden from his shoulders in terms of narrative, but also stunt work. Like,
yeah,
they were making old jokes in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull about his age, so it's only going to continue here. But this is really shaping up to be a really, really good cast. I'm really more curious. When do cameras start rolling on this? Or we're just going to keep adding people like they're Pokemon and just be like, we've been collecting you to our cast. We're never going to roll cameras. We're just going to collect you, and you can't do any other movies.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, a lot of stuff is shooting now, so I mean, it could be
That's
within
true.
the next few months. Who knows?